good morning. I think when you actually watch Cade and not just looking at his numbers and not just looking at how the Pistons fail, I think you got to look at the organization not building around him correctly, and his turnovers and the way the coach coached last year. He coached in a way that didn't complement Cade or the team and the players that he had. So I think the coach needs to coach different. I think they need to change the roster around a lot more. And I would go after DeJounte Murray from Atlanta. And I would get Dalton Connect because he's a shooter. I would put him at shooting guard, DeJounte Moore at a point guard, and have him and Cade running the floor. And I really love our shooting guard, but I would get rid of him because him and the coach, for some reason, don't seem like they work together. And I would get rid of him and bring in DeJounte Murray, and probably save Atlanta some money and go with that. I really like Jalen Duren. He just needs to be coached differently. They tell him to raise his hands and not block shots. It's just, I really, really didn't like the way the coach coached last year at all.
Well, and Sheldon.
And I don't blame Cade a lot. Yeah.
No, and it's a good point. If you go, I think Duren, wasn't he supposed to be further along? Wasn't Ivy supposed to be further along? Wasn't Cade supposed to? At some point, that is a direct reflection of coaching. I mean, they lost more games last year when Cade was healthy than they did the year he missed the significant portion of the season. I think there's plenty of criticism towards Monty Williams, and the question really circles back to, Is that what's holding up the Trajan Langdon introductory press conference? Is a solution with Monty Williams? Because there were questions over whether or not he even wanted to coach last year, by his own admission.
Didn't look like it. And it's not a shot on Monty Williams.
No,
I don't mean that to be. He's got a lot of things going on outside of his job.
Heavy personal stuff, and he was hesitant to get back into coaching. And then he's mentioning things in postgame about, hey, we got to stop playing this all bench lineup, and then he would run it in the first quarter of the very next game. He realized halfway through the season publicly, I should have been playing Ivy more. I mean, there are questions if you want to move forward. Is he the best coach for Cade? No would be the answer. The question is, financially, are they going to figure out a solution there? Because that's as big a storyline as any. I mean, it's Cade's extension, it's the draft, it's the future of Monty Williams, and it's the man we haven't heard from publicly yet, Trajan Langdon.
Well, but here's the good thing about the contract. This is simply, does ownership want to be, do they want to become free of it? Are they willing to spend the money? It has no implications on salary cap or luxury tax, anything like that. That is completely separate. So it's not like having the same conversation. And it's different in baseball, but with Javi Baez, do you buy him out? What does that mean? How are you willing to spend that money? This is simply, are you willing, or can you identify Monty Williams as an issue, and what are you going to do to resolve that issue?
Ticket text 248-539-9797. We'll talk to you guys on the phones as well this morning. Texter says, yes, you give Cade the max deal, then draft the best shooting talent available. Then find the best free agents to support him from there. Mark in a truck wants some names. Ticket Texter throws out Malik Monk as a name. The reality is the free agent crop is not a good crop.
No.
It doesn't mean you don't try. Like last year, they just opted out entirely. I do think you have to try. But I think that his idea is the right idea, whether it's Reed Shepherd or Dalton Connect, some of these pure shooters in the draft, to force teams to respect them.
Do you think one of those two
will be there?
I don't expect both of them to be there. Here's the thing we don't know about the NBA draft is you have so many individuals that are going to be drafted that that aren't household names. Right, you may have heard of them. You can't pronounce their name. They're coming from France. They're coming from the G League. They're coming from all over, but you don't really know who they are.
You don't keep throwing good money at a bad investment. The guy's never healthy. We're at the bottom. Just trade him. He's not a centerpiece. Doug in Sterling Heights. What you're going to get back is going to be less proven players.
Yep.
You're going to give up what quality you have for quantity. A couple young players or picks. And those picks are going to go through the lottery little ping pong machine, and you're going to pick fifth again. So one of the great rules in trading is get the best player in the trade. You would not be getting the best player in the trade if you sent away Cade Cunningham. You should build. He's young. You aren't spending money on anybody else. It's worth trying legitimately for the first time in his tenure to build around him. And if he can't stay healthy, what the hell difference does it make? You're at the lowest point in franchise history. I think that's the path worth pursuing, not hitting the reset button on the number one pick you finally got that you haven't even tried to build around.
And if he ends up making more because he makes an all-NBA team,
Good.
That's the whole goal.
Thank you.
You want to be able to pay him more within the parameters of the contract that he gets.
Hell no, I'm not giving him a quarter of the salary cap. We're not close to winning. Continue to draft, pursue free agents, and trades. Matt in Northville, you're on 97.1.
Good morning, gentlemen. I wanted to bring something up and see what you guys think about. I've had this thought that Cade's tenure with the Pistons thus far is so reminiscent, to me at least, of Stafford's first couple of years with the Lions, where it seems like he's just being raised by wolves, and his talent is being almost oppressed rather than being allowed to flourish. And I just can't shake the feeling that if we were to get our act together around Cade, like John said, when he's surrounded by really good infrastructure, he flourishes and shines as an elite talent. And I think that would be the case. And it would be such a shame to see us bail on the talent that he is and to see him flourish elsewhere in a different uniform. That's what I wanted to say. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, pull a Stafford in the Rams type of thing. Only to finally get your act together once he leaves town. John,
if it led to
a Dan Campbell figure and a Brad Holmes figure, sign me up. But there's no promises with that. And I think for years the Stafford conversation was he has the talent, it's being wasted by a poorly run team. John, I don't know if you agree with that comp. I want to get your answer coming up next. Clearly, we can continue the conversation for a few more minutes. 248-539-9797. Where are you guys at? It's 97.1.